is what we're bending and what we're playing. Some ideas, instead of just like blatant licks that are in a particular timing, would be vibrato. Let's just play this right here. Vibrato is the most important thing. So you're going to play this. The root's important. Good. Now vibrato, very importantly, doesn't come from the fingers. Okay? It's going to come from the hand. But all three fingers are on. And you're going to move the guitar like this. Right, so again, not fingers. Right, that's it. You start feeling a little looseness in the hand where the weight of your hand, it's almost like if you played that note and I shook the guitar like this a little bit, it would just start moving itself. Because now let's go up to this root. This is a higher root. Same thing, all three fingers. The next note after the root, always, right, in the minor bend. You're going to bend that just a hair. It's called the, I like to call it the attitude bend. You're bending it a quarter step. It's a note that doesn't exist. But for us guitar players, because we have that whole ability to shift pitches, we can get in between pitches and then go back to a root. It's always followed by that. And it's really at the last minute, it's like I hold this note, which is the third, and then the last minute I go fall into it. Yep. So it's like hold it and then right. Just kind of now do it here. Now it's going to be a little bit upwards spin. So you're going to play the flat third. Remember, this is the root. Yep. Flat third will always be in the same spot relative to the root. Yep. Yep. And a little too much. We're close. Make sure you go all three fingers. At least two right up. So already, just two notes can sound really good. I mean, if you came in and you had... Whoops. Can't help myself. All right. Now, the next step would be the bendable note. The bendable note, as you know, is always the third degree of the pentatonic, or the fourth note of the key we're in. In this case, it's always right underneath the root. So let's do that. So now go right underneath it, and you're going to bend it. When we bend, we always use three fingers. And so now we can bend it up a whole step, or a half step. Same thing goes for this. The flat five is between the fourth and the fifth, right? So now if we're on the fourth, we can slide to the flat five. So now let's do that. Just a half slide, half step slide. Yep. And you can even do, like I said, a half step bend. Yep. Or a whole step bend. There's a lot in this one area, you see what I'm saying? That's where I'm getting it. So I could say just in that area, play, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different notes right in this area already. Yeah, it's better to do that. Let the guitar, the weight start kind of, yeah, exactly. go to the bendable note. Let's bend up a whole step. Flat third, right? Attitude bend. Now let's do a half step slide. And then to the root. And the root's always at home base. Now, every lick you did here, kind of basically the same. Already in there. Now let's continue on that path. Now we're going to play this. We're going to go back to the root. This is a cool idea. Roll. Where the knuckle collapses and goes to the fourth. Yep, and you're always going to roll from the root to the fourth and back. And then go to the flat third. Because your attitude bend. Yep. Close. Back to this. Back to the root too. Yep. Right, and then bend. And a half step slide. And all step bend. And then the roll. Now let's go from here. Root. Flat third. Attitude bend. Bend. The actual bendable note. Higher. And you can do this. Attitude bend. Okay, so now the next note that we can play, let's keep going. We're going to play root. We're going to slide up to the fifth. And then we're going to play a flat seven with our second finger. So we're not going to commit to the shift. We're not going to the next octave. We're just going to play these two notes together. You can play them separate, you can play them together, so it can be like... Slide up, you get the flat seven, because you're allowed to. You can play just like a scale, so you can go. You know, you can go up and hit the blues note. Now you can also bend the bendable note here in this area. Bendable note's always the fourth degree. Always underneath the root. And the pinky out one fret. What note is that? Not the note of name, but what is it relative to the root? It's called the flat seven. How often do we hear that? All the time. It's the same. Two notes. Check it out. These two notes are the same. Same thing, right? Bending up to the fifth. Saying timing, right? So this now this gets to the how. We have the what. We know how to play each one of those individual notes back up to the root, because after the flat seven it would be back to the root. This next octave, we can only go up to the fifth, but we will soon bend the fifth up to the flat seven. Now it's the what, or the how. Just play playing the notes is one thing, and that's the starter, right, and going through it. But seeing that fingering shift is going to be key to this octave. But remember, just like this pattern, it's the same lick, give or take an octave. But I know that, so when I hear it, I already know what the lick is, because I know what notes I'm hearing. I don't really think root, flat third, fourth, flat 5, back to fourth or something. I just kind of feel, and I know where that lick is, because it's in the same place to me everywhere. Etc., etc. So now, once you get the handle on that, it's just negotiating these two strings that are out of whack in this octave. And then here, knowing that they've already been done for you. Alright, so now, with the how, we tapped into it a little bit with vibrato. Vibrato is so important because when you hear a player, you can almost identify who they are by their vibrato. But like, how many different ways can you make a vibrato? People go, well, just feel it. You know, they hear two guitar players and they go, that guy, you know, I like that guy more, he just has more feel, right? We listen to people and go, wow, we really like Stevie Ray Vaughan, he's got a lot of feel, and then somebody like Steve Vai seems to not have the type of feel that we're looking for in a blues situation, although I'm sure he has it. It's going to be more about how you do something, not the what, because we could plug in, you know, anything and make this note. But if it just sits there, it doesn't have a vocal quality. So a vocal quality is what you're looking for when you're trying to become an instrumentalist or a soloist. It's trying to create the nuances of the human voice. And one of the ways to do that is to use vibrato. So this is along the lines of what, but we know the root's important. So again, whenever we use vibrato in review, it's 3 fingers. Now sometimes we use the first finger for major, but for right now we're going with minor, and it's third every time. That's the beauty of the visualizations, right? The roots are always the third finger. Only one exception, that's here where it starts. Everywhere else. Alright, the next thing is, if you notice, I'm not just vibratoing and picking this note. Because it would be like this, and that's okay. But this almost makes all the difference in the world. This is a scrape. Alright, and a scrape is basically I'm hitting more strings than I'm playing, and I'm letting only the one that I want come out. You'd say, well, that seems kind of hard to do. It's all done with the palm of the hand, so it's like. Immediately people go, wow, that sounds like he's got a lot of feel. And they're just little techniques that make you sound like you have a lot of feel. Because the people who sound like they don't have any feel aren't like feelless human beings. It's just that there's these little nuances that if you listen for them are in the music and make all the difference, you know, when you really hear somebody do it well. So now the next level is when you do a rake, it's going to take a little bit of practice. So put your third finger on this B, which is the tonic, or the tonal center of the key. And now let's vibrato. So pick it and give it a little vibrato. Now, yeah, vibrato's going to go this way. Yeah, and think of it like there's a counterweight on the headstock. That's something, yeah, exactly. That's what's going to do it. Then there's kind of like this sympathetic vibration where the guitar kind of just starts using its own weight to you know, you're kind of using the guitar for the vibrato, or it's coming from the wrist even. Alright, so now, the next thing was, what was the next thing? The next thing was, the rake. Now, when we rake and use the vibrato, first we'll take the vibrato out. We're just going to go like this. Yep. Just keep doing it a few times so you feel like nothing's coming out. Just let that come out like this. Sometimes vibrato helps. When you're going to let it come out, you're going to go. Yep. Yep.